going on, guys? It's Seafood Rob here with JKD Process. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about the footwork, the Jeet Kune Do footwork that nobody's really doing. Nobody's doing. I hate making broad statements like this, but, you know, I was inspired to do these YouTube series because literally when I watched Jeet Kune Do on YouTube, like, nobody's talking about this, and it looks so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh. Why does JKD look so bad on YouTube? What's happened? What's going on? I don't know. So we're gonna break things down a little bit here, and I'm not saying I know everything, but I mean, man, there's some horrible stuff out there in terms of JKD on YouTube. So we're gonna talk about the footwork that nobody's doing. Now, if you want more in-depth details on Jeet Kune Do footwork, and learn Jeet Kune Do from A to Z, obviously we have an online program at www.jkdprocess.com. That's where you'll learn Jeet Kune Do from A to Z. However, in terms of basic footwork energy that nobody's doing, and footwork principles, let's talk about this right now. So generally when I teach footwork, I tell my students you have 3 orders of footwork and 5 energies. Seafood Rob, what are the 3 orders and the 5 energies in footwork? I'm glad you asked. So 3 orders in footwork, just simple, you know, concept. I can move 3 different ways, right? So I can move my right foot first, I can move my left foot first, or I can move both feet at the same time. Not complicated, right? That's just the order in footwork. Why is this important? Because I want you guys to think about which one makes the most sense. So in any given situation, so let's say, for example, I want to go to my left. We also have different directions, right? I have forward, back, left, and right, and then I have my angles in all of those directions. I prefer to break that down and think about it in terms of like a compass. So if north is directly in front of me, south is behind me, over to my right is east, over to my left is west, and of course you got northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast at the angles. So I got 8 basic directions. Jeet Kune Do typically teaches 4, forward, back, circling right, and circling left. However, regardless of what direction I want to go, you have to think about which foot you want to move first, left, right, or both at the same time. So if I want to go to my left side for some reason, maybe I have an opponent in front of me, I need to cut an angle to my left side. I can move my right foot first, I can move my left foot first. Typically what we're going to tell you to do, if you want to go to your left, move your closest foot. So I'm going to move my left, then my right. Most common type of footwork, that's typically what we're going to do. But we don't always have to do that, right? I can move in many different ways in terms of going to this direction. So I can certainly move my left and right, but I can also move my left at an angle. Boom, right? I can move it at an angle and then move my right, or keep my right where it is. I can move my right and then left, or I can move my right and then pivot my left. I can move, I don't even have to move them both in the same direction. I can move my right foot back and my left foot at the angle. There's so many ways in which you can move your feet. Now, within many of those different ways that I just showed you, I'm also using different types of energy in those ways of movement. Now, this is something that I teach. It's part of Jeet Kune Do Process. This just helps you to break down footwork within the Jeet Kune Do curriculum. So again, anyway, I'll share this on YouTube. Sometimes, honestly, guys, I don't like putting stuff out on YouTube. I'll be honest, because then next thing I know, everybody else is doing it, and my channel only has like 300 subscribers. And so like, so when I see channels that have like, you know, 10,000, 50,000 subscribers, and they're doing the same thing that I just showed like a week ago, sometimes I don't like putting stuff out on YouTube, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and we'll see what happens. It is what it is. Hopefully the JKD world and community will grow better as a result. So we're gonna talk about 5 energies in terms of footwork. So the first energy is basically most of what I just did in terms of stepping. Stepping is the first energy, so take notes on this. Stepping is just picking your foot up, putting it down. Stepping is just like walking. You're stepping, okay? As you're walking, I'm just gonna pick my foot up, put it down. Step and step, step and step, step and step. I'm just lifting my foot up, setting it down. That's the first energy. That's one way in which you can move your feet. So if I wanna go forward, I can step and step. The second way in which I can move my energy, move my feet, is pushing. So we have pushing energy. So instead of doing a step and step, now I'm gonna push. I'm gonna push off my back foot to go forward, boom. Push off my front foot to go back, boom, right? So I can push and push. You have pushing energy. You can go forward, back, you can go to the side, any direction you want. You have pushing energy. Next energy you have sliding energy. So I can slide as well. So if I wanna go forward, what am I gonna do? Instead of doing a step and step, or instead of pushing, I'm gonna slide or sweep. I'm gonna sweep my back foot forward. Boom, I'm sweeping. Forward, sweep back. Sweep forward, sweep back. So I can sweep forward and sweep back. So or slide forward, slide back. I like the idea of sweeping. You're sliding across the the mat here. But you do want to try to minimize friction. If you are sliding too much, it's going to slow you down and creates more friction. But at the same time, you don't want to be too high in the air when you're doing this, right? You want to stay low to the ground. So that's sliding. So those are the first three. Next one, I like to call, so we call this in Wing Chun. So again, I've done Wing Chun, been there, done that. Check out my bio, jkdprocess.com. But been there, done that. So Wing Chun aspect, we have something called shocking. So shocking footwork is I'm basically going to, if I want to go forward, instead, it's similar to pushing, where I'm pushing off, but I'm actually going to kick the ground. Essentially is what I'm doing. So I'm lifting my foot up slightly and I'm going to kick the ground. Now, when I kick the ground or stomp the ground, what does that do? That creates an impact. There's an impact there when my foot hits the floor. You feel that impact in your heel, in your foot, and that impact goes up to your knee. Now, you can make it stop there at your knee, or you can use the energy from the impact to shoot yourself forward. And that's what we're doing with shocking. Boom, we're shooting ourselves forward. Boom, we're shooting ourselves forward. Now, we use this in Jeet Kune Do for steel step. In Wing Chun, we typically are using this for our triangle footwork. Typically in Wing Chun, triangle footwork. So that's number 4, shocking. Next one is dropping or falling. So there's different ways you can use dropping or falling. So falling is, and it's literally just using gravity. So I'm just falling. I'm just falling. So I can use this falling going forward to send my weight into the target. So essentially the idea is that as I'm falling, and this is from Jack Dempsey, old school boxer, Bruce Lee got this principle. But as I'm falling, I'm sending my body weight into the punch. It's almost like you are landing not with your foot, but you're landing with your punch, right? So essentially, if I do it on the bag, because the bag's going to hold my weight a little bit better. But essentially, if I'm falling, boom, I'm here. Let me use the full hand, but I'm here. So in other words, I don't need this foot is what I'm trying to say. I don't need this foot to land for the bag or my target to take my weight. So my whole body weight is falling actually into the target, not into the floor. And then my foot will come down, after I land. That's falling. You often see falling or dropping in Muay Thai when they drop out with the round kick. They oftentimes drop out with that round kick. Okay, so you'll see that a lot too. Boom, right? They're dropping out with that round kick. So those are some other things that you see as well. But that's dropping. Dropping has a great way of creating that impact. Again, similar to the shocking, but you feel that impact, you land, boom, and that's typically that anchors you, right? That anchors you into the ground. Which you're going to use that anchor to deliver your power into your kick or your punch. So those are 5 energies in footwork and your 3 orders, as well as your 8 directions that we talked about. Forward, back, left and right, and then the different angles. So now your homework is to figure out how many different energies and how many different directions and how many different orders can I go in any given direction. What do I mean? So let's say, for example, let's say I want to go to my right. What energy and which foot do I want to use to go to my right? Well, we know I can do stepping energy, right? And now when I step, what do? I move my right foot first and my left. That's the order. But I can also step with my left foot first and my right. That's a different order. I can also step with both feet. I can move both feet. I can hop, okay? Now, obviously, in combat application, you're not going to use every single one of those, and typically we'll tell you not to cross your feet here, but I just want you to know this is something that you can do. It may be the most optimal at times. Never say never, okay? Because there's situations where there's going to be case. So, for example, I see this a lot. You watch Mike Tyson. He's good at using that hop, because a lot of times what he'll do is he'll slip, and then he'll actually hop over to the side of his opponent and throw his hooks. Or throw his power shots. Like, he hops a lot. If you watch him, like, he's hopping over, jumping actually, to nail his target, right? So keep that in mind. But think about that. Pick a direction you want to go and think about which order you want to use, and then what energy can you use in that order. So we just talked about stepping, but I can also slide. Exactly, right? I can slide. I can shock in that direction. I can drop or fall in that direction. So understand that in all different 8 directions. And understand also that both feet don't have to go the same way, right? Both feet don't have to go the same way. So, for example, in Jeet Kune Do, we have something called split step. We have split step where my one foot's gonna go one way, the other foot's gonna go the other way. So I'm gonna take my back foot, that's gonna go back, my front foot, and then it's gonna go forward. So instead of doing a 1-2 or a push step 1-2, I'm gonna go back first. It's gonna be back, then forward. Okay, so split step, right? So it's coming back, and sorry about his hat there. Oops. So going back, it moves me out of range, and then I'm able to come back on that angle. Obviously, keep your hands up as you're actually punching. A lot of times when I'm demonstrating, I'm gonna show my hand right at the side just so you guys can kind of focus on the footwork or whatever it is that I'm doing, okay? But obviously, when you're really attacking, keep your hands up, chin tucked, shoulders raised, okay? Just basic stuff you guys should know already. So try that, give it a shot. Let me know what you think in the comments. And check out our next video. In our next video, we're gonna talk about defense. We've been working on footwork, punching, kicking. Well, how do you block? And we're gonna cover some common mistakes that everyone makes when they're learning how to defend, when they're learning how to block. Again, we go into more detail in this in jkdprocess.com, our online training course. I hope to see you there.